Hi everyone, my name is Tara Arnold. Welcome to my channel, and tonight I'm going to be consciously channeling Ascended Master Saint Germain as he gives us some tips on spiritual awakening and some advice on how to get through this ascension and all these ascension symptoms. Now, I do have a few videos that I've done on ascension symptoms, and I will put those in the description below if you want to check those out. If you have more questions around it, you might find the answers there. So the first thing I want to start with today is a question that I received. Saint Germain always shows me to go into the center of the physical heart to access the Christ consciousness. And so the question was, what's the difference between going into the center of the physical heart or going into the center of the heart chakra to connect with the Christ consciousness? And so Saint Germain shows me, and the Ascended Masters are showing me, that before we incarnate on planet Earth, that we all put an aspect of the Christ consciousness in our blueprint in the center of the physical heart. So if you visualize having your spiritual body fly into the center of your physical heart, then you can access all that is Christ consciousness, God, source energy, universal energy, whatever terminology you want to give it. And so when you get in there, you'll see like bright white light. It feels divine. Sometimes you'll have like huge feelings of like emotional feelings of divine love. Sometimes a feeling of that you haven't had on planet Earth yet. So it's like, you'll feel this Christ consciousness. It's all a visualization. You just fly into the center of the physical heart. You can meet your spirit guides there. You can access your higher self, or you can invite your inner child in there. This is where you meet all the divine. There's no polarities in the center of the physical heart. To transmute the emotions in your ascension journey, you would go into the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is like a doorway, and all the chakras, they're like doorways to all your past lifetimes. It's all the polarities. You can have the dark and light. And as you transmute with your light from the center of your heart chakra, you can surround the dark with your light, and it expands your consciousness within that chakra. So what I mean by this is, if you're going through some emotional triggers, say somebody triggered you and it upset you, you get angry, you can go into the heart chakra. So you just visualize going and connecting with the heart chakra in whatever way you want to visualize that. You don't have to like fly into it. You can just visualize the heart chakra in this area and connecting with it. And once you connect with that, you can access both the polarities of the dark and light. So when you go into the center of the physical heart, you're going to only be connecting with the light. But when you go into the heart chakra, you can access both the dark and light, both the polarities. As you connect with that anger or hate that you just experienced because somebody triggered you, you visualize surrounding it with your light consciousness within that chakra. And it transmutes instantly back to light. So within those chakras, within all the chakras, you can access all your past lifetimes, any experience that you had, you can just go through those chakras to experience it. So if you were having a lot of anger, hate, and rage coming up in your reality, maybe it's from a past lifetime where you were a fighter in the battlefield, on the battlefield or something, and it hasn't yet been transmuted. You died on the battlefield and you're full of anger and rage, and your spiritual body is like, okay, let's go transmute this. So you just visualize connecting with the heart chakra in any way that you would like to connect with it, asking those emotions to come up. First, you check with all the chakras, where am I feeling this emotion? So if you feel anger, hate, and rage, you might feel it in another chakra as well. But it doesn't matter what chakra you feel it in. You're still just going to visualize surrounding it with your light, and it instantly transmutes back to light. So whatever chakra it was in, it's going to expand that chakra, and it's like your ego gets quieter and your spirit gets louder. So the whole awakening is my spirit's getting louder than my ego. So within each chakra system, you have all these ego emotions, and you're transmuting those back to light by surrounding it with your light. So you have both polarities within each chakra to access. So on your journey, as you're accessing all these emotions and transmuting them, then the chakra expands its consciousness and you become more light rather than dark. You become more spirit rather than ego. So for an example of this, if I have my artwork hanging on my wall and somebody comes into my house and they insult my artwork, I would give that gratitude and I would say, okay, what chakras did I feel that insult in? Okay, so I felt some in the solar plexus. I was feeling powerless when they insulted my artwork. I feel it in my heart chakra. It hurt my feelings. So there's 2 chakras I feel it in. As I surrounded this with my own consciousness in my visualization. So this is all visualization. You just take those emotions. You can visualize them as people if you want and just surround them with white light or your love, and then they transmute. So now, in order to gauge how much you've transmuted in the chakras, you want somebody else to come back and insult your artwork, and then you can see how much you've transmuted. So maybe somebody comes back in, they insult my artwork. Okay, that's great. Thank you for the gift. Now, where do I feel this? What chakras do I feel this in? Do I feel it in my heart chakra? No, my feelings aren't hurt. Do I feel it in my solar plexus? Yes, I'm still feeling a little powerless. Okay, so this is great. I now know how much I've transmuted within each chakra and how much has expanded. I've cleared all the hurt feelings from my heart chakra. So this is great. I'm just going to go in and work on the solar plexus. There was probably some more layers to it. And then again, after I'm done that and I surround it with my light, it transmutes it and the chakra expands into bigger consciousness or larger or more vast. I know the terminology big and large don't really apply to expansion, but it expands more. And so my consciousness gets louder and my ego gets quieter because I'm not judging it. It's not triggering me as much. So then you want somebody else to come back in to your house and insult your artwork. So now you can see how much you've cleared. So the next person comes in, they insult your artwork, you can gauge it. You're like, okay, I don't feel it in my solar plexus. I've now transmuted all the powerlessness I felt around that insult. And I no longer feel it in my heart chakra. So this means that I've transmuted all the hurt feelings from that as well. So this is awesome. So now the insult feels like a compliment. There's no difference because there's no judgment. The only reason that I was getting triggered by somebody insulting the artwork is because I hadn't yet transmuted it within myself. So once you master it, all the insults that you get feel like a compliment. They feel the same because you don't have any judgment left on it. So this is what Saint Germain is showing us as to how these triggers in our spiritual awakening. I know it feels like you're getting beat up and that it's like an uphill battle. Like every time you leave the house, you're getting all these shatters and these triggers. But in order to expand our consciousness, we're getting these shatters to see the polarity of what we haven't yet transmuted within ourselves from our past lifetimes or childhood. So it's a gauge. Every time you get triggered by somebody during your spiritual awakening, it's a gauge to where you're vibrating at. Have I transmuted it within all my own chakras yet? So this brings me back to the difference between the heart, the physical heart. If you go into the center of the physical heart, visualize going into the center of the physical heart. There's no polarities. There's nothing you have to transmute in there. You can just meet your spirit guides, relax, play with your inner child, meet with your, any spirit guides that you want in your center of your physical heart, and it's all divine love. Now, if you want to go to the nitty gritty and transmute all those deep, dark emotions, then you go into the chakra systems and transmute and make it a fun game, like this ascension and awakening process. I know it feels like we're getting beat up all the time, but if you change your perception to, oh, this is like kind of like a fun game. I'm going to see how much I can transmute within all my chakras. Then it just becomes a game, and it lets go of the judgment on it. And that's all that's required in order to transmute those emotions back to love. It's just stop judging it. So if somebody insulted my artwork, now it feels like a compliment. It doesn't feel any different. So then what happens is people stop insulting my artwork because they don't take my power with it. When they insulted my artwork before and I had an emotional reaction, then that was me giving my power to them. Now if they insulted my artwork, it feels the same as a compliment. So my energy doesn't change. I don't make myself small. I stay expanded. They can tell that that's not hurting my feelings. So it's not fun for their ego anymore to insult my artwork because there's no judgment on it. So now it feels the same as a compliment. Also, what happens is you stop creating people to come in and insult you because you don't need it anymore. It's like, oh, I don't need that because I'm not needing to transmute anything within my chakra system. So I'll notice, like say that somebody puts a mean comment underneath my YouTube videos, I always give it gratitude. I'm like, oh, good. That's showing me that maybe I had been criticizing myself today, or maybe I had been criticizing my video, or maybe I had been, like really insulting my looks or something. So it gives me a gauge to where I'm vibrating at in that moment. So I just give it gratitude, go in, work with my inner child, maybe work on a few chakras to transmute dark back to light. And then the comments under my YouTube video get really loving and kind because I changed it within myself. So it's all about going in and changing it within ourselves. And then it changes everything outside of us because everything's a hologram. So Saint Germain showing me it's like everything projected in front of us is a hologram of where we're vibrating at. And the game is to master that, transmute it all back to love, and then you just live in this like peaceful love without all these triggers all the time. But it does take years of transmuting because this is the game that we came to play. Okay, so for my next tip for Saint Germain's next tip, I wrote some of them down here. A lot of these things, he's saying that we can transmute a lot of these in sleep time rather than wake time. So one night I was sleeping and my spirit guides woke me up and they said, this is wake state. And then they put me to sleep and they said, this is sleep state. And then they woke me up and they said, this is wake state, sleep state, wake state, sleep state. They did it like 10 times. They would wake me up, put me to sleep, wake me up, put me to sleep. And then after about 10 times, they said, what's the difference? And I said, nothing. And they said, exactly. If there's something that you want to transmute from dark back to light, you can do it in your sleep time rather than your wake time. So when we're awake, we believe our reality is real. And when we're asleep, we believe it's not real. But both are an illusion. So they're saying if there's something that you want to transmute that you don't want to experience in your so-called real life, your wake state life, then you can transmute it by asking your spirit guides if they would assist you in transmuting those emotions during your sleep time instead of while you're awake. So you can ask your spirit guides to help you with this. All you have to do is just let them know that you wish to transmute dark back to light, fears back to love, for your highest good in your sleep state rather than wake state. So you want to command this to be so in your reality and just invite your spirit guides in, ask your spirit guides to assist you with this, and they can bring in dreams that will bring you to the state of that. It actually feels worse than in real wake state because they bring it in really, really intensely. And what happens is they'll wake you up just at the point where the pain, the emotional pain is the most intense, and they will wake you up. You like sit up and they will say, this is the worst feeling, and you just visualize surrounding it with your light, and then they put you right back to sleep. It takes about like 3 or 4 seconds. So they wake you up right at the point of the worst feeling that you've ever experienced in your entire life, and then they transmute it, and you transmute it with your light as they are transmuting it, and then they put you right back to sleep. So that's an easy way to transmute a lot of things that you don't want to really create in your reality. So another thing you can ask for to help you on your ascension journey is for a spirit animal totem, spirit animal medicine. You can also do this in your sleep time as well. So if you go outside and you see an animal in your reality, then it's a message from spirit. So you can look that up, like just Google or look in a book on animal totems to receive a message from your spirit guides. So maybe you'll see a deer outside and you look up what is the animal totem for deer, spirit animal totem, and you'll receive a message off the internet or in a book. But you can also do it in your sleep as well. You can ask for spirit medicine from animals or spirit animal totem to come to you in your dream state. So when that happens, it usually comes in really, really fast. So I'll see an animal in my dream, and I just put out to the universe, like, whatever spirit totem, animal totem would be good for me at this time, whatever animal medicine that would be beneficial, that I'm open to receiving this from animal spirit guides. So all of a sudden I'll have a dream, and it's like a lucid dream. I know I'm dreaming, and then I'll see an animal, like say a deer, and they're across the field, and I'm like, oh cool, there's a deer there. And then all of a sudden it's like lightning speed. The deer like races at me and then stops like immediately before it hits my face, and it puts his eye up next to my eye, and he looks into my eye, and I can feel him breathing. I can feel the hair on the face. They make it so real that it's like you can't question it. Like, it's like, this is real. I can smell him. I can feel him. I can everything. And it's usually, you feel like a little bit frightened to bring out the emotion, and then they bring in the healing through their eye or through their energy, and it lasts for like a few seconds to a few minutes, it seems like, in the dream. It might be a different experience for somebody else out there. If you guys have anything to add to this, then put it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear any experiences that you've had with your spirit animal totem medicine, and any stories or any other advice. That'd be great. So this is how you can receive healing from your spirit animal guides. They can bring it in your sleep as well. So it's just putting the intention. This is all intention. So it's like putting the intention that your spirit guides help you in your sleep, and your animal totem spirit guides can help you in your sleep as well, if that's something that you would like to help you on your ascension journeys, to make it a little easier. Usually after a big event like that, like where I have like an animal totem like come to me in a dream, I have a lot of shifts in my outer reality after that, like a lot of healing or big changes come. So just have fun with it. It's really magical when it happens, and it's super real. Like it feels like you're awake when it happens. It's pretty neat. And so the last tip that Saint Germain's bringing in to help us on our ascension journey is the attachment to outcomes to things, whether it's getting our power and then after it's like we feel guilty about that. It's letting go of the outcome or attachment to the outcome or caring about the outcome. It's not caring because we care. We still care. We have compassion, but it's like just letting it go. It's like he says, it's none of your business how everyone reacts to you expanding your consciousness. So, that and caring about the outcome of anything like you wish to manifest, it's just letting go of the attachment to that. So in every step that we're taking on our spiritual awakening journey, as we expand our consciousness and step into the power from our heart instead of our head, where we stop feeding people's egos and go in and give that love to ourselves. And then that love from within us expands our consciousness. And then we have more love to give to everyone on the planet. So that's why it's so important to go in. But then their egos are saying, okay, well, you went in instead of feeding somebody's ego, and now they're upset. You upset them. And it's really letting go of that, like letting go of everyone's reaction to you becoming conscious. It's a real bump in the road for many of us that are going through this. It's like, it's almost like not caring, but it's not caring, because we care. We still have compassion, but it's like letting go of the end result. It's even like when we manifest, it's like, okay, like now that I've, visualized what I wish to create my reality, I've tapped in to the timeline where I have that reality, and now I've got to let that go. It's really letting it go. It's where are you still feeding your own ego is what he's saying. So he's giving me an example. It's like, if I, did an interview with someone on YouTube, and then I go and I look to see how many views I get or to read the comments, then I'm interrupting the flow of the universe because I'm trying to control the outcome, or I'm attached to the outcome, or I need to know something from my ego. It's like, let that part go. Like once the creation is done, let it go. Like once I did the interview, I channeled during the interview, now it's time for me to let it go and give that and hand it to the universe and not care about the outcome. Like, don't go seeking it out. Like, don't go looking for something, because once you go looking for something, you're going to get triggered and it's going to take you back to the third dimension. So as you're doing your creations, you let your creations go to the universe, but not attaching to the outcome of what happens to them. Yeah, it's just letting it go. So that's what he's saying, is just like letting more things go. So those are our tips for today from Ascended Master Saint Germain. Thank you for stopping by. I will put the other videos on Ascension and spiritual awakening tips. I will put those other couple videos in the description below. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.